Good day everyone, we are the ForSurge, and in this video, we're going to introduce to you the continuous pressure measurement. So what is continuous pressure measurement? This refers to the constant monitoring of pressure over time using instruments that provides real-time readings instead of one-time measurement. In this system, a pressure sensor or transducer is connected into a display or control unit. It continuously detects the pressure of gas or a liquid and converts it to an electrical signal that can be shown on a screen or recorded automatically. And now, let's move on to manometers. Manometer is an instrument used to measure a pressure of gas or liquid. It works based on a principle that pressure can be balanced by the weight of the liquid. As mentioned, ang manometer kuno nag-work based on a principle na ang pressure can be balanced by the weight of the liquid column. So, what is a liquid column? Ang liquid column is a height of the liquid within a container nga naga-exerts na sa sang pressure proportional to its kadalumon, ang iya gravity kag ang iya nga density. So, given na ang pressure kuno ang naga-cause ang rise and fall sang liquid in a tube, let's see how does a manometer measure pressure. For example, sa YouTube. As you can see sa picture, ang manometer is approximately half full with liquids. And ang liquid na ginagamit sa manometer is typically water, mercury, and light oils. And sang una, ang mga ginagamit nila is mercury, but since may environmental and health hazard ang mercury, so buong ginagamit nila is ang liquid, ginakolora na lang nila so that mas clear makita nila ang movements ng liquid in a tube. So back to the YouTube manometer, kung ang pressure kuno is equal to the both side, ang columns ng liquid on each side will be at the same height. And ang ini, ginamarkahan ni sa scale 0. Both sides ng manometer will be at the same height level if both sides are open to atmosphere because P1 is equals to P2. So kung ang liquid sa manometer is at rest and the pressure exerted by the gas or another fluid on one side, ginapush niya ang liquid column down, while ang weight of the liquid on the column pushes back due to gravity. And ang ini nga equilibrium, and these two forces are equal, meaning ang pressure sang gas is balanced by the hydrostatic pressure of the liquid column. So, diri na masulod ang relationship sang hydrostatic pressure is equals to density times gravity times height. And as you can see sa picture, ang difference sang height sa two sides of the tube is the differential pressure. Manometer users must be aware of meniscus error. Amo ni siya ang time kung ang fluid magpilit or magtapik sa side sang glass tube. And may duwa ni sa ka-type, it is a concave and a convex. Ang concave, amo ni sa ang nagakulog, as you can see sa picture, sa right side. And ang nagakaya is ang convex. Types of manometers. So, there is 3 types of manometers. Amo ning simple YouTube manometer, differential manometer, kag incline manometer. So, what is YouTube manometer? As I explained kagina, amo ni siya ang U-shaped glass tube na partially filled siya. And ang isa is connected to a pressure source and ang isa is open to atmosphere. So, ano naman ang differential manometer? Ang differential manometer, same naman sa Japan sa YouTube, pero ang kinalain niya ni, ang duwaya ka side is connected into 2 different pressure and amo niya purpose to measure the difference of the pressure between 2 points of the system. So lastly, what is an incline manometer? Ang incline manometer has the tube tilted to improve accuracy when measuring small pressure difference. So, gin-design niya para mag-measure sang very small pressure. And mas accurate na siya than sa regular na mga YouTube manometer. And because sa tube niya is inclined, ang gamay ng mga vertical pressure change can cause a larger movement sa liquid along the inclined tube. So, this will make it easier to read small variation in pressure. So that is all for manometer, and let us now proceed to mechanical pressure elements.
Good day everyone, I am Mark Jance Perez. So for this part of the report, I'll be discussing mechanical pressure elements. So basically, these elements works by converting the force exerted by a fluid into mechanical movement. So in short, kung may pressure nga apply sa fluid, this will result into movement of mechanical parts of the device. So let's go deeper into how they work and what are their main types. So mechanical pressure sensing elements such as bellows, diaphragms, and Bourdon tube are destined to measure and monitor fluid pressures. First is mechanical pressure elements convert fluid pressure into mechanical motion or force. So, ibig sabihin, they turn into pressure into movement na pwede sukaton. So, second, they depend on the elasticity of material. So, the more pressure applied, mas nagde-deform kag nagbe-bend ang material in proportional way. Ano sa talo ka types, no? Ang bellows, diaphragm, kag Bourgeon tube. So ang bellows, amo na siyang flexible, accordion like components nga na-expand o nagko-contract kung may pressure nga gina-apply. So next is the diaphragm. So amo na siyang atin, flexible membrane nga nagde-deflect kung may pressure sa isa ka side. So may ginagamit kung sa mga low pressure measurements. So the next is the Bourgeon tube. Amo na siya ang curved hollow tube nga slightly ga-straighten kung gatasang pressure, no? Ang movement nga na amo na siya ang kino-convert niya into readable and diurnal movement. Next, most pressure gauges are used Bourgeon tube as the main pressure sensing element. Kung ang iba naman ang ila ginagamit is ang diaphragm. So sa diri nga slide makita ang basic mechanism sa isa ka pressure gauges. So kung may pressure nga gasulod sa Bourgeon tube, muna sa ang gas slightly straightened sa ang Bourgeon tube, no? Ang gamay nga movement gapasa na sa linkage or sa gears na muna siyang gapatiyog sang pointer sa dial. So habang gataas ang pressure, gahulag ang pointer para ipakita niya ang corresponding pressure reading. So moving on, no? This slide shows the C-type Bourgeon tube mechanism. So amo na siya ang C-tube nga may curved hollow metal shape. Nagpe-flex kung may pressure nga gina-apply. Ang Bourgeon tube sa may ginagamit sa mechanical pressure source, no? Dahil ay kay amo na siyang pag-on, simple kag gahatod sa sang accurate readings. So lastly, no, makita sa diagram ang tatlo ka main types, no? Ang below, diaphragm kag Bourgeon tube. So ang tatlo nga ni pares na nagagana sa isa ka principle, by converting pressure into mechanical movement. So ang bellows nag-expand, nagko-contract kung may pressure. Ang diaphragm nagpe-flex pataas o pababa, depende sa pressure or sa isang side. So ang Bourgeon tube amo na sang slightly straightened kung gataas ang pressure nga gina-apply sa iya.
Hello everyone. Today, I will be presenting on the force balance pressure transmitter. What is a force balance pressure transmitter? We define it as an instrument that measures fluid pressure by balancing mechanical forces. It operates on the force balance principle, where the pressure induced force on a diaphragm is counteracted by a feedback force, either pneumatic or electromagnetic, creating an equilibrium. This equilibrium produces an output signal proportional to the fluid pressure, offering accurate and stable measurements. Working principle describes the core process. Pressure from the fluid acts on a liquid-filled diaphragm capsule, producing a mechanical force. This force is transmitted via a force bar linked to the diaphragm. Movement of this bar changes the gap between a nozzle and a flapper in pneumatic models or alters the magnetic field and electronic versions. This triggers a feedback force, air pressure in pneumatic transmitters, or electromagnetic force in electronic transmitters that balances the diaphragm's force. Equilibrium is reached when these forces match, resulting in a stable output signal proportional to the measured pressure. This feedback mechanism ensures accuracy and linearity. The key components include the diaphragm capsule that senses the pressure, the force bar transferring force to the sensing mechanism, the pneumatic or electronic sensing assembly, flapper nozzle or Hall effect sensor, feedback elements such as bellows or electromagnetic coils generating opposing force, and the output signal system that communicates the measured pressure to controllers or recorders. Each part plays a critical role in converting pressure to reliable output. In calibrations and adjustments, zero adjustment sets the baseline output signal when no pressure is applied, ensuring that reading starts accurately at zero. Span adjustments calibrates the transmitter's output across the entire pressure range, ensuring proportional and linear response from minimum to maximum pressure. These adjustments are important for maintaining measurement accuracy over time and across different operating conditions. conclusion summarizes the importance of force balance pressure transmitters as robust and precise instruments, essential for safe, reliable pressure measurement in many industrial processes. Their feedback balancing principle allows them to maintain accuracy over time, playing a vital role in process control and instrument actions. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Carl Vincent Otagle, and today we're going to be discussing about electrical pressure elements. So electrical pressure elements sense applied pressure. They convert pressure into electrical signals. Signals may be voltage, resistance, or current. Common outputs include 4 to 20 mA analog, HERT, and foundation field bus. Piezoresistive sensor, our first element. Piezoresistive, pressure-sensitive resistance. As the name says, resistance. Resistance that changed value with applied pressure. The strain gauge is a classic example of piezoresistive element. So strain gauge work by changing electrical resistance when stretched or compressed. When stretched, it increases the resistance, and when compressed, it decreases the resistance. Strain gauge is attached to a diaphragm. Resistance changes as the pressure is applied, and pressure measurement is based on the resistance variation. Next. So there's two types of strain gauge, the metallic and the silicon. Metallic exhibit good spring characteristics within elastic limits, but suffers from fatigue over repeated cycle, and deform permanently if overpressured and lost its accuracy. While silicon have very linear spring behavior in a limited range, show high resistance to fatigue, very durable, and fail completely when overstressed. But manufacturer prefer this one because it provides a clear indication that the sensor must be replaced. Next is the diagram. Next, so single silicon wafer acts as a diaphragm gauge. Metallic diaphragm and fill fluid protect the silicon sensor. The design ensures accuracy, durability, and safe pressure transfer. Next. So its role is to transfer the process fluid pressure to the fill fluid. And then this allows the silicon sensor to experience the same pressure as direct contact. So the fill fluid allows the silicon sensor that they could experience the same pressure as a direct contact. Then the sensor is protected from the direct exposure to the process fluid. Next. So this is an example of Foxboro piezoresistive sensor, the Foxboro IDP10 pressure transmitter, which uses the silicon strain gauge. Next, let's gonna talk about differential capacitance sensor. Differential capacitance sensor uses a taut metal diaphragm as a sensing element. So then, the diaphragm places equidistance between two stationary surfaces, forming two complementary capacitors. Fill fluid, usually silicon, transfer the pressure-induced motion from the isolating diaphragm to the sensing diaphragm. Then, the fill fluid also serves as a dielectric material for the capacitor. Next. So, this is its diagram. Next. So, the pressure difference across the cell causes the diaphragm to flex toward the low pressure side. So, capacitance depends on the distance between conductors, and they are inversely proportional. When you can say inversely proportional, it will state that when the low pressure side capacitance increases, the distance decreases, and when the high pressure side capacitance decreases, the distance increases. So it uses high frequency AC to detect capacitance changes, convert signals in DC output representing the pressure, and provide high accuracy, stability, and durability. This is an example of differential capacitance sensor, the Rosemount 1151 and Rosemount 3051. So resonance sensor element, it is mathematically expressed as in this formula. Now, the fundamental resonant frequency of the string is equals to 1 over 2 times the length of the string, and then it is multiplied to the square root of the string tension over the unit mass of the string. Next, so this is the diagram of the resonance sensor element. So of Yokogawa successful DP Sharp, the Yokogawa model EJA110. Next. So resonant transmitter resemble differential capacitance sensor. Process pressure enters through the two ports, isolating the diaphragm transfer motion to the sensing diaphragm. The resonant element change frequency to measure pressure. Next. So we're going to talk about mechanical adaptation. So mechanical adaptation is a type which is more simpler and a cheaper alternative. An example includes Bourdon tube and bellows. Advantage of this one is simple, low cost, but dual function design. But its only limitation is its lower accuracy, nonlinear, and prone to hysteresis errors. Next. So its application is mechanical adaptation method are used in direct reading gauges with electronic output. It's also Number 2, manufacturers integrate motion sensor into existing gauge designs. Then number 3, produces low-cost pressure transmitter that also acts as gauges. And number 4, ideal for application prioritizing cost and simplicity over high accuracy. So that's all for electrical pressure elements.